The afternoon of May 22nd starts out hot and humid. Perfect weather for frozen yogurt from Joplin's newest shop, Cherryberry. The self-serve frozen yogurt shop is a midlife career change for Jolynn Dotson and her husband.
It was our 10th day in business. Everybody in Joplin was very welcoming, very warm. It was just like God kept telling me that Joplin was where I was supposed to be.
On that Sunday, Jolynn is the one managing the shop.
We were really busy. I was running out of yogurt. I was running out of cups. I was running out of spoons. I was running out of toppings.
Jolynn also has her hands full training a brand new employee, Stephanie Gregory.
Everything's great. Jolynn's showing me around, shadowing, talking to me about what I'm going to be doing.
Stephanie is on the job less than 30 minutes when the first tornado sirens ring out.
Sirens were going off. It still looked sunny to the east, so nobody was really alarmed because they sound the sirens so much here that it's cry wolf.
Mike Lee and his son are in the shop having yogurt.
I remember thinking, well, if there's anything going on, we'll hear about it because everyone has a phone.
At that same moment across town, Aaron Prophet is visiting Joplin for his brother's high school graduation.
James Trey Green.
After the ceremony, the family plans to head to Aaron's mother's to celebrate. As Aaron heads to his car, the tornado sirens start to wail.
I didn't think anything of it. I'm not from Joplin, Missouri, so if the locals weren't responding to it, I really didn't pay attention.
Aaron follows behind his mom and two of his aunts, who are driving in separate cars. On the way, he decides to treat his family to something sweet.
I had remembered the ice cream shop that just recently opened up.
He calls his mom. She says she'll meet him back home.
So I called my aunt's car, and they picked up. I said, hey, let's stop and get ice cream.
Meanwhile, inside the yogurt shop, there are signs that something's not right.
Around 5 o'clock, one of my employees said, I just got a text from my sister that says there's a bad storm coming.
The sun is still shining when the power momentarily goes out.
The pivotal moment I always remember is when the lights flickered. It was eerie.
As Aaron and his aunts enter the shop, the lights go out for good.
And in my head, I was thinking, well, we're gonna get free ice cream now. The power is out, it's gonna melt. And one of the clerks came behind the counter and she had like a plain face.
Another employee got a phone call saying, there's a tornado at 17th and Michigan headed right for you. And then pandemonium kind of broke loose.
Alarm begins to spread through the shop. Jolynn takes charge, still not fully aware of what's heading towards them.
I kind of just went into teacher mode or mother mode of directing and assigning people on where to go.
Jolynn sends some of the customers into her office and takes the rest to the bathrooms.
And I came back there with my son, and then for some reason I turned around and went back up front again to take a look. I couldn't see the street, the cars, nothing.
You can just see debris hitting glass hard, and the glass started to crack.
And Aaron, I didn't know his name at the time, he looked at me and he said, sir, you got to get in here.
Mike and Aaron run to the men's restroom.
Right when I got to the restroom and I shut the door, that's when it hit.
The yogurt shop is swallowed up in the tornado's vortex.
It sounded like it was just sucking the whole building up. We had like 8 1,000-pound yogurt makers, and those were flying around. You just hear everything getting demolished, and everything's rumbling like an earthquake.
It seemed like it was 10, 20 minutes long, and you can hear the metal, you can hear the roof ripping off, and just that panic fear of you want it to stop.
I was thinking, I'm gonna die, so I was preparing myself to the feeling of death.
But instead of death, the winds suddenly stop.
I remember hearing everybody breathe out, kind of like, wow, we made it.
I made a phone call. I got a hold of my mom. I told her, hey, I think it's over.
But their relief is short-lived as they realize they're in the eye of the tornado.
And then that's when it started to hit us again. And I told her, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
The other side of the tornado hits with even greater force.
There was this bang, like someone shot a shotgun off, and the wall opposite me just disappeared.
It's like a vacuum feeling that now I'm about to get sucked out. So we just gripped down tight, holding on to each other.
I remember that overwhelming sense of peace came through me. That was my day, that I was finished here on earth and I was going home.
And then all of a sudden it stopped. Dead silence, our ears are ringing. It took a while to hear for a moment. And then the sound came back and you can hear people screaming and crying.
It wasn't all sunshine like in the movies. We had hail, big hail. That's when I remember us getting pelted on the head with hail, trying to get out of the door.
Mike and Aaron escape from the bathroom and head towards the front of the store.
I made my way outside. I got to the back of the building, and it was all caved in.
And I came around all the debris and I saw a hand sticking out of the side of the ice cream shop. And it was the owner of the shop. And she said they're stuck inside.
Our door was jammed shut, and I remember hearing people on the other side of the door saying, "Stand back, we're trying to open your door for you."
Aaron realizes his aunts are trapped inside.
And I hear screaming. Something came over me. I need to find out if my family members are still alive.
Coming up, survivors desperately look for their loved ones.
We were walking around in a graveyard and didn't realize it.
I didn't know where my son was.
After only 10 days in business, the Cherry Berry frozen yogurt shop in Joplin, Missouri is destroyed by an EF5 tornado. Aaron Profit and Mike Lee escape from the wreckage only to realize their families are still trapped inside the store's office and bathrooms.
And I hear screaming. I need to find out if my family members are still alive.
Aaron kicks the bathroom door open. As the survivors scramble from the rubble, Aaron is reunited with his aunts. But one person is still missing.
I didn't know where my son was. I thought he was buried underneath all the rock, the cement, the blocks, and the steel and all that. But he had already gotten out of the debris.
Miraculously, everyone survives, but they are not out of danger.
And I said, we got to move away from the building because there's power lines down and it's still pouring down raining.
But as the group moves away from the building, they realize the danger from the downed power lines is everywhere.
You hear everybody saying, "Stay out of the water because you could be electrocuted." Well, the storming was raining. We're all standing in water.
Everyone's cars are destroyed, so they begin walking.
It felt like the whole earth had changed. It really seemed like an apocalypse.
We were walking past one house and there was a foot or an arm sticking out. We were walking around in a graveyard and didn't realize it.
Jolynn and Stephanie reunite with family, and Mike and his son are rescued by a friend. Later that day, Aaron reaches his mother and is relieved she's alive.
She had told me that they took cover inside the apartment complex.
Aaron is grateful that all members of his family survive. But a week later, he receives some shocking news.
The police called and said that my mother didn't show up to work and that they went to her house and they found her deceased inside the bed. She had suffered some injuries to her back while trying to run inside from the tornado. I guess the wind blew her into the fence. And she didn't tell us that. She suffered some internal bleeding that caused a blood clot or something. I went to a physical tornado, and now I'm about to go to an emotional tornado. That's how I felt.
Since 2011, the people of Joplin have rebuilt 90% of their homes and have also picked up the pieces of their lives.
Right now I'm a full-time student in the Law Enforcement Academy at Missouri Southern. I just want to help. Before the tornado, that never would have been an aspiration of mine.
We didn't reopen our store in Joplin. I feel like God's will was for us to be there during that time, and that's the end of that chapter.
I believe there was a force of angels around us. For everyone to walk out of there, tremendous blessing. It really was.